Okay, so in this video I'll be showing you how to rebuild one of these CVs. These are for IFS vehicles only. This isn't a solid front axle vehicle. Alright, so what you're going to need is a rebuild kit. One of the boots on this CV is split. First thing you're going to want to do is undo the bands. You can just use a hammer and a screwdriver to undo these. There's a couple of little tabs that you need to knock back for it to undo. And you're going to want to undo the bottom one as well. So take the bands off and then get a Stanley knife and cut into the boot. You want to cut it completely off. Alright, so as you can see, the grease isn't looking the best. You probably can't see it, but there was a lot of bits of dirt and shit that got in there. So you want to try and clean up as much as you can with a bit of paper towel or rag or something. Now you're going to want to remove the outer part, the outer joint. You're going to have to hit it very hard with a hammer at first, just to pop it off. And then undo the bands on the other side of your CV. Okay, so remove the boot off there, and you can pull the CV apart. You want to check, make sure everything's in good condition. There's no wear on any of the parts or components, and I'm going to re-grease all of it. So just clean up as much grease as you possibly can. And now we're just going to degrease it all. So get a can of degreaser and go nuts, really. You want to get as much of that gunk, much of the dirt and the grease out as you possibly can. Really good, give it a good clean up. This is a very important part. You want to get all that old grease out so you can put some nice new fresh grease in there. Alright, so now you want to squirt some WD-40 in there. That's going to remove all the degreaser that's still in there. Just soak it in WD-40 and let it all drain out. Alright, so after your parts are dried out reasonably, what you want to do is re-grease them. I've got some wheel bearing high temperature grease, and that's what I'm going to be using for the inner part of the CV. So just put it back together how you took it apart. You want to put your band back on. This is how the bands go together. You push that in, which applies pressure all the way around it, and then you need to hit those tabs in with a hammer, and that locks it in. Okay, so now you want to put your boot on, the new boot that you got in your CV rebuild kit, and you should have gotten some grease with it as well. This is the grease for the outer part of the joint. You want to cut the corner off the packet, and you want to squirt it in the middle of the joint. You want to squirt as much as you possibly can in there, and the idea is to get it all sort of coming out the sides, coming all around all the bearings in there, as you're going to see. Just like that. When it starts to squirt out the side like that is when you've got the right amount of grease in there. Alright, so give it a bit of a wobble around, get that grease all moved around in there. Alright, now hit the outer part of the CV joint back on. You're going to need to hit it very hard with a hammer to get it to come on. After you've started it, make sure it's going on right. The last thing you want to do is stuff any of the splines in there or any of the clips. And as I can see, it's going on right. Give it a good few hard hits, and there you go, it pops straight in. Alright, now put your bands back on. And put the band back on the bottom part of the new rubber as well. Bend it over, and then give it a few taps with the hammer. Okay, so now I'm just going to give it a good wipe up, get all that grease off so it's not sticky. Alright, and I'm going to give it a spray with some WD-40 just to stop the rust. Alright, so this is going to be my spare CV that I take when I'm full driving, just in case I were to break one on a big trip, and that way I can replace it on the spot, and I'll be able to get out of whatever situation I'm in. So I'll be wrapping it up in a black plastic bag, wrapping some tape around it and sealing it off, and then it'll be going straight in the back of my car. Alright guys, that's how you rebuild a CV. It's handy to know. Thanks a lot for watching. If you've got any questions about that, just drop a comment. Really appreciate you guys watching. Have a good one.